Hello and welcome to this first pilot episode of the FTS Sports Show. We're going to be having a general pub-like chat about all things sport and hopefully find you some, maybe a few betting tips. It could get quite lively at times. I'm really glad to be joined by our resident Hibs fan, Darren, and we'll be taking in some SPL chat with him. We've got the most knowledgeable of the group, Mr. Andy Richmond, and he's going to give us some insights into the upcoming Super Bowl, maybe a couple of Cheltenham mentions, and we'll discuss his little team at the top of the Premier League. He's a gooner. We still get on, so it just shows Spurs and Arsenal fans can get on. I've got Mark Holleran with us. Mark does the lower league for the newsletter. He's going to give us an update on lower league positions. We might mention Bolton. We don't know. We'll see how it goes. And we're going to have a little discussion about Wrexham. And top right for me is my mate Suggsy, who I go to Spurs with. I won't say he's one of the biggest idiots on the planet, but he's one of the biggest idiots on the planet. And me and him, this whole thing came about because people said it's very entertaining watching him and I at Spurs discuss sports. They actually prefer watching that than they do watching the football because we get a little bit heated. He comes out with some outrageous things. So we're going to bring him into a couple of the discussions about Spurs, about Arsenal. He's already made one before we've come on air, and about Wrexham. But we're going to kick it all off with
Awesome.
Premier League. All look to be done, lads. It all looked to be over. Arsenal won a couple of games. City lost a couple of games. Darren, you know we're in a WhatsApp group where there's a couple of Arsenal fans were getting chirpy. Oh, they're into 1.2 now. Then over the last couple of weeks, it's gone a little bit wobbly. 0-0 against Forest. Michael Carrick, the ex-Spurs boy, turning up and winning 3-2. Meanwhile, Man City have won both games. Andy, are your team going to bottle it again, or are they going to win the Premier League?
So I don't buy the bottlers theory, because if you look at the points totals over the last 3 years, there's very little between the two teams. Fair play to City. What did they last year? They won 11 in a row. We won 10. So I don't subscribe to that theory. I think that's an easy Sky Sports fan TV narrative now, isn't it? You've got people like Paul Scholes, who must be the biggest knobhead out there. I mean, it's just the best take I've seen on Mr. Scholes, who was a brilliant footballer, by the way, and one of my favourite footballers from other teams, was the Peterborough chairman today, who said he's just trying to stay relevant. And I think that is a lot of that's wrong with the punditry on TV, which is, quite frankly, most of it is a bag of shit. Getting to the fact whether they can win it, I still think there's going to be twists and turns. I think you got to stay calm. I mean, all three sides. There's three sides capable of winning it. Let's be honest there. Villa, Man City, and Arsenal. So Villa's last two games are very interesting because they're home to Liverpool and away to Man City. Manchester City have got to go to Liverpool yet. They've got to go to Chelsea, which is still a tricky tie. And obviously they're going to play us as well. And then they play Villa at the end of the season. I think our 4 pressure point games, with all due respect to the rest of the Premier League, is probably Tottenham away, which
No chance.
Yeah, and I know what you're going to say, Ian, but it is a derby, and we've seen funny results in that game throughout the years. You're old enough to remember some really strange results in that game when sides we've been top of the league, you've been above us, etc., etc. We've got Chelsea at home, Man City away is obviously the one that be the 6 points, and we've got Newcastle at home. Can they win it? Yeah, of course they can win it. 4 points. If you'd have taken 4 points, if you'd have said 4 points clear at this stage of the season, you'd have taken it. You'd have bitten someone's hand off. But yeah, they could run out of steam. The whole thing is we're still in 4 competitions, and once Europe starts up again, injuries, etc., etc. Every side gets them. But the one thing, I mean, I know the Arteta haters out there. The one thing I would give him a lot of credit for a lot of things, but the one thing I would say is that he completely has turned that club around in 5 years. And I don't think anyone can deny that. Whether they go and win anything is then another matter, but he's completely turned the club around. And if someone can go into Manchester United and do the same job, I'll be very surprised.
Yeah, that's a fair comment. I mean, I'm not a fan of his, and I think he's one of the reasons why you might not win it. Is just because he gets so emotional about it, and it carries into the team.
But how many? But that's another thing. How many This is another Sky Sports media narrative. How many other managers do you see doing exactly the same as he does? He probably could calm it down a little bit sometimes. I think you need to take the handbrake off a little bit. I think the play is too structured at times, and he probably just needs to let people play when you look at the squad he's got. But there's a lot of other things that go unnoticed. I mean, people have been running, Klopp ran on the pitch. Did that really get anything? There's all sorts of
It's a valid point.
It's not a level playing field. I think there's a lot of amongst the majority of the pundits, especially the Manchester United ones, the majority of which have either never had a go at management or failed miserably at it. I mean, Roy Keane didn't do really any good. Gary Neville was a complete joke in Spain. Scholes lasted about four weeks at Oldham.
Yeah.
And that's the sum total.
It's all valid. I just think because Arsenal haven't won it for so long, like Klopp had a team that won, I think that Arteta absolutely has to stay calm for them to have a chance, because it just feeds into the team. And that team hasn't won for 20 years, and the pressure, you could feel it. I don't watch a lot of football. I did watch the game, the second half on Sunday, you could feel it. You could feel it in the stadium, and it's exactly what Spurs get.
I had a friend who's a season ticket holder I went to school with. He has been a season ticket for 40 plus years now, and he even said the same to me. He said, I could really feel the tension start to build.
Are you a backer at 1.45?
No.
Any other views, lads? See, you got any views on Arsenal winning the league?
Yeah, I think they're a little bit scarred from the last 2 or 3 seasons where they've gone this close. They've had it in their hands at some point or other and blown it, and I just think they could easily be succumbing to the same thing again. I can just see, and Andy says there are 3 or 4 key games. There obviously are some key games, Man City being the main one. But the closer they get to the line, if they do, the more even the lesser games, in theory, will become massive games. Every game will become a banana skin the closer they get to the line.
Do you think the league? I mean, there's another route of discussion here about the quality of the Premier League, which. But do you think the league has become more compressed this year, and it is more difficult to win?
A little bit, I suppose. I mean, you take teams like Villa all of a sudden in the argument. So there are other teams getting closer for sure. Yeah, but I mean, if you want to look at the an argument for the strength of the league as a whole, you just need to look at the European League last night, the Champions League last night. 5 out of 8.
Because that's the first time I think. There's loads of bits you can talk about that. And we've actually got a chance of breaking several records there, having sides. We could Newcastle could get into the last 16, and that's never been done before. When you think of you look at Germany.
Even last year, England got the extra 5th place, didn't we, for performances in Europe?
Spain and Portugal. I mean, they've only really, and places like that. And there's a lot of big sides who are not guaranteed to get into that last 16.
No,
if you can work the draw out, that is.
Yeah.
I've had a look.
Yeah.
No idea, not a clue.
And Mark, what did you say about the Premier League?
It's shit. It's boring as shit. It's just from where I watched it live for 10 years. It's nowhere near the quality it was when I first started, when my team first got in there. You had a Liverpool team that had just won Champions League. You had that Chelsea team that conceded about 2 goals when Mourinho was there. Spurs had a top team then. Arsenal had a very good team. Everton were also. It's just, I think a lot of it is down to the quality of the strikers as well. There's hardly any great. You've got Haaland, and then where are you going from there? Who else is there in the Premier League? I think if you're 4 points clear, it's better than being 4 points behind. I think they'll stumble over the line. I do. I think City have still got a strange defeat in them. They'll probably win on Sunday, but I think they might get close. But I think what Arsenal seem to do is they don't let many goals in, and they started doing that really crazy thing. They score off set pieces. It's just not. It's like the wheel's been reinvented in football. They're scoring off corners. It's unbelievable. I don't know where this has come from. And they can
I'm with
defend
you.
as
I
well.
think they'll get there. I think Arsenal will get there because I don't think City can go without probably losing a couple of the games that they're going to be playing. And I'm not saying Spurs will be, because we won't. I genuinely don't think we will. But City have had some dodgy, and I just don't think this is a really dominant City team. And I really agree with you about the sound of the league. I think everyone talks about the style of play. I just don't think the players are very good anymore.
No.
Compared to what we had 20 years ago. I think the likes of Henry, Bergkamp that you saw at Arsenal, Vieira, they were talking about comparing the Arsenal team to could they beat the 2008 team someone sent me or something. They want to worry about beating the 2026 team. Those teams back in the early 2000s, Arsenal, United, they were superb. I used to come to Tottenham and you'd go, Jesus Christ, they're just so good.
Walcott asked, there was Walcott and Rooney was on TNT or something the other day. And
I saw it.
They said, do you think really you rival the 09 United team? He went, no, we'd batter them. And they would. They would have absolutely annihilated them. Because you're talking Tevez, Rooney, Van Persie, I don't know, Ronaldo, all these kind of players, they're just not there in the Premier League. No, it's just
not the thing to say when you can't beat the 2026 team.
Just a question for both of you that say the Premier League is shit. I get what you're saying in terms of the old stars that were there and everything, and the dominance of one or two great sides. But look at how British teams generally are dominating Europe at the moment. So if we're saying the Premier League shit, then that doesn't say a great deal for the big four other leagues in Europe.
Oh, I agree. I don't think they are that good. I think
so what we're saying is
pretty shy.
So what we're saying is the standard of football's gone down across the board.
Yeah.
Or is it the standard of football? Like from an outsider looking in, I've not got a horse in the race in the English Premiership, but for me, I get bored watching it nowadays. I just think the quality is a much higher standard to what I'm used to watching, and I just think they cancel each other out. The tactics nowadays, the playing it around the back. It is boring to watch. They cancel each other out. There's not a lot of risks being taken. And I think when you go and play in Europe, that's where they are standing out, because they are better than a lot of nations, a lot of leagues out there. And in Europe, you probably have to take that little bit more of a risk in the Champions League.
That's a great point that Darren's made, because do you not think that you had to watch it was quite entertaining last night when I got back in and watched the last sort of last sort of half an hour of that goal show on TNT, where they were showing the table was moving up and down. But all the games seemed, I know it was the sort of last thing and a few sides had to go for it, including that wonderful headed goal by the Benfica keeper.
You wouldn't have scored that when you was playing, Andy, would you? You wouldn't have got off the grade. You wouldn't have scored that.
No, I'd have volleyed it in, actually. It'd have been all right. But it wouldn't have been allowed up that far. But I think the games are a lot more open in Europe. People seem to have gone for it a bit more. Don't know.
They do. I still think we had more quality players. Who would you say in the Premier League, when you go back and go Modric, Zola, Bale, Bergkamp, Henry, other than Haaland, who do you look at and go, they are absolute top quality? Well, they can change a game like that.
I think it's changed the question around it. Who when somebody gets the ball, do you generally, no matter where they are on the pitch, do you get genuinely excited about? And naming people from the era you did, and I'll even name a few Spurs players. You were right, Modric, Ginola, Klinsmann, a few people like that, and obviously Henry, Vieira, Bergkamp, Perez. And go for a few United ones as well. You can go on and on. Now, is there anyone you think gets hold of the ball and you think, he's really going to do something with this?
It's too robotic.
But Andy, these players wouldn't get the freedom to be the players that they were, the legends that they were. And the current
it's always a very difficult. It's a very difficult job comparing eras, isn't it? Because the style of play changes. So would they? Don't know.
I have a question for you. I have a question for you, Andy. Now, obviously, what the expectations of Arsenal fans, right? And I know how brutal the English Premier League. If you've got unsuccessful managers, they're just sacked in an instant. If Arteta goes this season and wins nothing, is he under pressure?
He's under pressure, but I think they'd stay with him because who else? I mean, it's be careful what you wish for. Who out there is there you would get in?
Thomas Frank.
No, thank you. I'll leave the Thomas Frank discussion to you boys. One of the great mysteries is how the hell's Tottenham have got fourth in that Champions League.
That line went a bit missed. That line went a bit missed, Mark, when I'd rather have Anne Frank.
Well, I think he's under. I think he would be under really severe pressure, but I think they'd probably give him another year. I mean, he's backed him to the hill. So, and you've got to think, well, who else is there out there? I'm not sure.
So, right. Well,
that's a little bit the argument, Andy. Sorry, that's a little bit the argument that we're having with Frank to a certain degree. A lot of people want him back, Ian particularly. But part of the argument is what are you doing instead?
Exactly.
It's the same, it's the same kind of story. What else do you do?
Give it to Ryan Mason.
You could just keep him for Europe.
Anyway, let's move north of the border. He's got his colours on. Absolute beautiful little setup here is north of the border. I'm known for calling the Scottish League pointless. I think it could be perhaps the most exciting league in Europe this year. We've got Rangers, who had Russell Martin, a bizarre appointment, start the season at Rangers. Absolute car crash. Nobody gave Rangers a chance in October. Because of that, I was really strong thinking Celtic were going to win. I had a decent bet on Celtic to win the league because I thought it was pretty much buying money. But Darren's a big Hibs fan. Along came Hearts, Darren. Still sitting there top of the league. And I just want to, I just want to remind you of a couple of things you said. Hearts will be at least 15 points off the top of the league come May. And there's more chance of Sunderland winning the English title than Hearts winning the SPL.
There's always a tweet.
As we sit here with a few months to go, and they're still there, came back twice against Celtic for 2-2. Who's winning the Scottish Premier League, Darren?
Well, if I ever prayed that you were right, that the Scottish League was pointless, it is this season. Honestly, it has been torture. I mean, you look at if you're wanting, do you want my view from my heart or from my head? Because it is excellent for Scottish football. I mean, even if you look outside the top three, you've got Motherwell, who are only 5 points off Celtic, sitting in fourth place. But it does raise the question, are Hearts top of the league because Rangers and Celtic are so bad this season? Can Rangers and Celtic be so bad for a full season? Can Hearts maintain it to the end of the season? They can, but you're looking at the points totals, something you're touching on in the English Premier League. The lowest points total the Premier League has ever been won by was 79 points by Celtic. That's when Rangers weren't in the league. Celtic didn't even have to make an effort. You're probably looking, you'll need 80, 85 points. Can Hearts then win the last 11, 12 games of the season out of the last 15? That's where your big question is. Can they maintain it? With Rangers and Celtic, Celtic have taken a lot of loan players. Rangers have spent 7-8 million in the transfer window in January. Hearts can't compete with that right now. So that's where you're thinking, would second still be an achievement for Hearts when they've been sitting so long at the top? I don't know, but I am honestly praying it doesn't happen.
Praying, I'm honestly, he sounds exasperated, doesn't he?
Darren, can I ask you then, who would, if it's obviously you don't want Hearts to win, who would you rather win, Celtic or Rangers?
I don't care. Motherwell, aye, Motherwell.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you could go back. You could go back to the last time that Hearts were actually up the top, because you'll remember this when they had the wonderfully named Vladimir Romanov. Now he was a complete fruitcake, wasn't he? The bloke who, the Russian billionaire who owned them. He sacked George. They were top of the league. He sacked George Burley, didn't he? Got in Graham Ricks.
That's right. Yeah.
He threatened I can't remember who the captain's name was at the time, but I know he threatened him when he didn't sign a new contract.
Stephen Presley, that was at the time.
That's it, yeah. He actually won the Russian or the Ukrainian version of Strictly Come Dancing.
Did he really?
Swim across Loch Ness.
Yep.
Hearts went into administration in 2014. They won a couple of cups, didn't they, as well? So you can only wish for a similar situation like that. Apparently, the guy now lives on a retired nuclear submarine in Siberia, and he was
arrested as well. He was arrested for fraud, and
so you can only hope for that again.
There's a great series on BBC Sounds, and it's they actually go and track him down and interview him. It's like a 10-parter, and it is crazy. But I mean, even that season, because of the turmoil, they didn't get close to the title. The last time before that was 1986, which we have we call it Sir Albert Kidd Day, because Albert Kidd for Dundee scored in the last minute, and they lost the league on the last day of the season in 1986. So, I mean, do you know what? I can actually put up with them getting to the last day of the season if they lose it on the last day of the season, because it'll be funny. But
I know.
So that's what I'm now hoping for.
Totally
be careful what you wish for. But while we're on Scottish football, and I know Ian agrees with this because he tweeted out a couple of times, that is the best football song ever that the Hibs won. That is the best ever.
That's the only thing we've got going for us this season.
Absolutely brilliant. Have you?
Absolutely superb.
So to anyone, go and watch the YouTube after you won the Scottish Cup. Yeah, absolutely brilliant. Go and watch it. That is the best football song ever.
Do you know, I stand by it and I say Ian all the time that we might not have the quality up here. We've got the passion from the fans, and honestly, it's the most entertaining storylines you can ever get. Every single day there seems to be something happening. You had the Russell Martin saga earlier on the season. Had Wilfred Nancy coming in for less time than Liz Truss.
He lasted less time than Liz Truss, didn't he?
It was honestly. But then you think, with all that turmoil, that don't get me wrong, Derek Adams has done incredible at Hearts. I mean, they're winning games. Sometimes it's no pretty. They've had last-minute goals. They've had dodgy decisions going their way. But they're getting over the line in these games, against Celtic. They come back and draw 2-2. I mean, they've not been beaten by the Old Firm. I think that draw, they've drew with Celtic that last draw, then they've beat Rangers and Celtic the other 4 games.
Have they got them to play again?
So they played both Rangers and Celtic twice, and they beat them. Then that was the third game against Celtic.
When the split in the league comes in,
this is where it gets interesting. This is you've got about 15 games, 40% of the season left. Yeah, you're looking at the next 5 games are massive. Leading up to about the middle end of February, Hearts have got quite a tough 5 games. The away games are tougher away games. St Mirren, who they've struggled against, Dundee United away, who they just squeezed past the last time they played. Then their home games are tough. They've got Rangers within there. They've got Hibs away. I mean, although you would think they're going to at home, you'd think they're going to win that, but you seen what happened the last time they played there.
That's what I was saying about the Arsenal-Tottenham thing, yeah?
If they can get through these next 5 games and still be in that position, even going into the split, they've got a chance. But the split makes it massively interesting, where you're going to have to play Rangers and Celtic, possibly an Edinburgh derby, a Motherwell, who is, by the way, they are probably playing the nicest football in Scotland right now. Their manager has been incredible, and I think because of what's happening in the top 3, the limelight's been taken off Motherwell. But honestly, they've went 9 home games without conceding a goal.
Wow.
So it's just madness what's kind of going on up here. And
If they didn't
unfortunately,
play that,
we're sitting
Who's their
fifth miles
manager,
behind.
Darren?
Oh, I can't even pronounce his name.
Oh, right.
So I'm not even going to attempt it. But he just came in at the start of the season and he's doing excellent. He's doing excellent.
yeah. If they didn't wear that,
You've got a chance to put a spanner in their works then, Darren. Have you?
What was that? Sorry.
You've got a chance to put a spanner in their works then, Darren, have you? You've got to play them.
We have. We play them in a couple of weeks' time at Tynecastle. So, to be honest, when we beat them at Easter Road at Christmas, I think that was the motivation. I was dreading that game, leading up to it all week. I was wondering what was going to happen. At 3-0, I couldn't believe it. I was like, how are we winning 3-0? But I think that's where the motivation comes. Certainly for your rivals, it's like you could actually have a big part to play.
You're going to need to behave a bit better, aren't you?
What's this one? Boss, I've seen that tweet. Yep, I've seen that tweet. That explains why we're fifth.
Yeah, you're going to need to behave yourself a bit better than that. I actually think, from a punting point of view, I think Rangers are a great price. I really think.
Well, Hearts, punting-wise, Hearts are third favourites as well. So, I mean, even the Betfair or the bookies are thinking Rangers and Celtic will come back. They're still not dropped.
I've got Betfair up now. Celtic are 2.68. I mean, Hearts are the outsiders of the 3.25. But Rangers 3.1, I think. I cannot see that they do not trade shorter from that price. Rangers. With that manager. I cannot see that they do not trade shorter from 3.
They're another one. I mean, they're not playing pretty football. And even Rangers fans will tell you that, but they're getting results.
Getting the results, that's what he does,
It's unreal. And now he's had a transfer window, so he's been able to bring in. He spent 7-8 million. A guy from the German league, if I can mention Gladbach, who looks really good, young guy. So he's now putting his stamp on it, where Celtic are probably still 3 steps behind where Rangers are right now, because he's had a chance to get to this point. They've still got Martin O'Neill, although how excellent he is, he's not going to buy players for the future. They're going to get loan players, hoping with maybe an option to buy at the end of the season for the new manager to then assess it. So they're in turmoil right now.
Mm-hmm. So it'll be interesting, Darren, and we will enjoy the journey with you when we do one of these nearer the end of the season. We'll be able to pick it up. So let's dart down back to English football, to the lower leagues, Mark. We're going to start low and work up. So we'll start down in League Two. Now, I don't follow League Two, I've got to be honest, and I didn't actually know this until I started doing a bit of prep for this show, that Bromley are top of the league, which I should know because it's literally about half hour away.
I used to live just around the corner from the ground.
I was going to say an area of spectrum I know very well.
Yeah,
and I didn't want to come in and go, well, this is amazing, pending the conversation we're going to have in a minute. Are Bromley there because they've spent a load of money, or are Bromley there just through some sort of fantastic footballing story?
Good management. They've just ground out results all season. You know, that in that league, Walsall, MK Dons have spent an absolute fortune, and so have Chesterfield, to be honest. And Bromley have just gone about the business, come up last year. I've always said it is a bit easier to go Conference to League Two, and then a bit harder to go League Two to League One. Harder again, the step up to Championship. Then obviously there's a massive step from Championship to Premier League. But you've got to give them credit. They've been flying, and a few of my previews that I've done, I've put them up because they've been incorrectly priced. A bit like with the Celtic thing, you know, punters haven't got on board with them. Are they going to stop there all and go up? Well, I think MK Dons are probably a shoo-in to go up, actually. They do score a lot of goals. Walsall, last season, I thought they were up in January, and I don't think they won a game until September. They lost 3 centre-halves. I think they lost a goalkeeper as well. They've replaced all them. And they're up there as well. Notts County, they've also spent quite a bit of money. Like I said, Chesterfield spent a fortune. And MK Dons they've got Paul Warning, who was at Derby and Rotherham, and they've spent a lot of money. And I just think that they might just outstay Bromley. I'd like to see them go up. Well, no, I'd probably like to see them stay in that league because it's a ground I've not been in, and with what's happening in League One, I might be going there next season. So, for me, yeah, it is a bit of a fairy tale for them from where they've come from. Like I said, MK, the attacking is really good. Grimsby's been going well, and then at the bottom, my God, I think Newport are in deep trouble. Than a minus 22 goal difference. Harrogate are not very good, and surprisingly, Bristol Rovers are down there as well, which I didn't think. I thought they might have been a bit close to the playoffs, but yeah, that last spot at the bottom, there's 4 points separates 4 teams, so it's hotting up in that league as well. But yeah, Bromley
5.9 MK Dons. So that must sound quite decent then.
Yeah, I think
5.9 to win the league.
I think so.
And then we move into your favourite league, League One.
Yes, it's
which Cardiff look to probably have it sewn up.
They'll win the league.
Lincoln are running them close, and the mighty Bolton are coming up behind.
Right, let's address the elephant in the room here. Right, first of all, Cardiff will win that league. They score goals. They've got a cracking goal difference. Out of the teams that I've seen this season, they're by far the best team I've seen.
Good manager as well.
Yeah, he's doing well there. They didn't spend a lot of money when they came down, and they were a massive price. And I think I didn't get out. I didn't back them. I didn't think they'd be up there, but they've kept pretty much the same squad, and they're just scoring goals for fun. Lincoln, they've been hovering around the playoffs and that for the last couple of years, and they've kind of just improved season on season. They've got a 6-point gap over third and fourth.
Right. Who's in third, Mark?
You're finding this difficult.
I was wondering how Mark was going to get the asterisk into the word that begins with B.
Right, them fuckers in third, right? just to be perfectly honest about them, I have said for a number of years they do have a good team. The problem was, up until last year, was the idiot of a manager, Everett, when he was in charge. He was the problem. I've always said they've had a decent team. What they're doing now is, and it is a sign of a good team at any level, they're winning games late on. They've won the last 2 games in the last minute.
Yeah.
And you have to you've got to give. Well, I'm not going to give them credit. They beat us 2 weeks ago. We didn't have a shot on target. Our manager should have been sacked there and then after that performance, but I can come on to that in a moment. I think they might just get second. If we manage to stay in the league, I just want them out of the league. They've beat us in the last 3 games we've played after having 11 years of never beating us. So I would rather, if they're going to go up, yeah, just go up automatic and just forget about it. As long as they don't win the league, I can cope with that. However, a bit like Darren said, where he'd like to see Hearts get to the last day and then cock it up. Yeah. The other year when they got beat off Oxford in the playoff final, it's one of my favourite moments of all time. It was beautiful. I want to take it to the absolute edge, or maybe they miss out on automatic in the last minute and then they get beat in the playoff final. That would probably be better all around. Stockport have been really coming along now. I think if you're looking for a bet for a team to go up, if you look at from 6th down to, what is it? I've made a note here. There's something like, from 8th to 14th, it's separated by just 2 points. It's a very congested league. you've got Plymouth on 37, they're 14th, and Huddersfield are on 45, and they're in 6th. The only team that I really think might sneak into the playoffs late on would be Luton. I think Luton are, and they were a big prize. I think they were about 11 or 12 to 1 to go up. Now, as you all know, sometimes momentum helps in playoffs. I think if they could get in those playoffs, I'm not a massive fan of Wiltshire as a manager, pretty new, but I think it might. They have still got some decent players that might just help. I don't think Bradford are going to. Bradford's done it exceptionally well with a League Two team, basically, but Huddersfield spent a lot of money. They're knocking about, but hopefully, yeah. If they're going to go up, to the way.
It's almost giving him hives. It's almost giving him hives. Are your lot going down? You won't go down, Wigan, will they?
Well, I had a bet on us to go down on Wednesday night. We were 7 to 1 to go down, and we're a point off relegation. The manager is very close to being canned. We play Lincoln on Saturday. We will lose that, and it will turn toxic. There was talk that he was sacked yesterday, but apparently he's still there. He just doesn't seem. He's one of these retards that, like Amorim was at Man United. He's obsessed with playing 3 centre halves and playing wingers as wing backs. If you're a decent wing back, you don't play in League One. You play higher than that. So other teams are playing 4-4-2 against us and gaining behind. Our centre halves are good enough, and they're getting pulled out, and it just doesn't work. But like Amorim, he will not change his tactics. He got a stay of execution by beating Preston in the FA Cup, which obviously was his old team that he got sacked for, so he had all the players up for that. Yeah, that was great. A week later, we play them at home, them lot from up the road. We don't have a shot on target. And it's like, oh, you get the players up for a game that matters to you, but the one that really matters, we've just rolled over. And it's just, what he has done is united all the fans in there hating him. But if we sack him, where do we go? Who do we get?
Thomas Frank.
I'm sure you boys hated your last manager as well, Mark. Is this a common theme?
No, Darren. The last one split everyone. I was on the hate side because Maloney, and I think Pep is a problem with this. There's teams in League One and League Two trying to play how Man City play, and it's impossible. The players cannot do it, which is what Maloney was trying to do when he was here. A lot of people did like Maloney, and a lot of people didn't. So he split the fans 50-50. This fella has now united everyone in hating him. It's because with Maloney, he'd played for us. He was part of a very successful team. So people will always give, as you know, any team, they'll always give a manager who's played for you more rope than one that hasn't because of that connection. But yeah.
We are in the exact same position with, obviously, just going back to Scottish football, but David Gray, who scored the winner in 2016, the game Andy was talking about, he's now the manager. It's his first manager job. Is he getting longer than he would if it was another manager? Is there more fans given? Has he got that credit in the bank? And it's
I suppose it's same at any club. You will give those that have played for you, and especially in a successful team, more rope. But it just seems like he's blaming everything else apart from his own tactics. He also cannot say calamity, which is irritating all fans. He says calamity. Like, what are you on about? I went down a rabbit hole the other night watching press conferences with him saying it. I was spent 20 minutes watching a Scouser say calamity. Two bets for you there. Sorry,
in a calamity.
Oh, it will be a calamity if you get beaten Saturday.
When was the last time Wigan were in the bottom division?
Sorry, Andy.
When was the last time Wigan were in the bottom division then?
1995, 96. They won that league.
30 years ago.
John Dean was in charge.
Oh, right. Well, yeah.
I remember him. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember it.
Yeah. Right, we're going to move up to the Championship, but before we start talking about who you think might win it, obviously Coventry top. A team moved into 6th at the weekend, a team from Wales, and the first game of the season, Spurs were playing Burnley, and I met my old mate there in the Euston Flyer on Euston High Road. Have a couple of beers before the game, and we're sitting there. Got a big screen on and the lunchtime Championship game on, and it's Wrexham playing whoever. And my old mate sits there and turns, looks at the screen. He says, "Great story that. What a fairy tale." And I went, "What do you fucking mean? What a fairy?" He said, "It's not a fucking fairy tale, is it?" He said, "Well, it is. Look, what's that?" I said, "Well, it's not a fairy tale, is it?" And we had a bit of a right old, I'm not going to lie, it turned into a right old ding dong, because money for those of us for those of us who've been around football a long time, which is all of us, and what amazes me about him is he's a football man. Money is absolutely destroying every aspect of football. And to say this is a fairy tale, if we just bring this in, Wrexham, despite being outspent by all 20 league clubs this summer, Wrexham's had a bigger net spend than Barcelona, Valencia, Sevilla, AC Milan, Borussia Dortmund, and other established names who've been established in Europe for years. It's not a fairy tale, is it? There's nothing fairy tale about it. They've got the 29th highest net spend in world football, just behind Inter Milan. It's actually as far from a fairy tale as you could probably get. It's a million miles away from a fairy tale. Basically, Wrexham are the Manchester City and Chelsea of League Two, League One, and the Championship. I don't know what your view is, Paul.
Well, try what you just said there. Try telling that to a Wrexham fan. The Wrexham fan that was supporting them for 14 years in the lower leagues, and looking around at a depressed club that had a decent history behind them, but they had some nice FA Cup exploits in their past, and had a bit. There was a regular football league club, but all of a sudden hit the depths, and then out of nowhere the fairy tale arrives, and you can't deny it's not a fairy tale. And any club at that level would jump at that chance. They wouldn't say, "Oh, money." Any club, if that opportunity came to them, they would absolutely love it.
So is Man City a fairy tale?
In a different way, because Man City weren't in the non-league, were they? Because I think it makes a huge difference. The fact that they're coming out of non-league back into the football league, fair enough, but now knocking on the door of going to the very top.
I just don't see where the difference is. Man City were down in League One. They had loyal fans, biggest fans in League One. But Man City have bought. I mean, we're still waiting 115 outcome. Chelsea have been done. And this is obviously where we're massively different, because I say if Saudi Arabia come into Tottenham, I won't step in the ground again. And you're basically, it doesn't really care. They can shoot people in the streets, give us their money. If we win something, it's going to be great. It's a fairy tale. It's absolute fucking nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
But then do you not think it's the way that Wrexham have done it? Wrexham have done it a different way, isn't it? Somebody Saudi Arabia, and like you say, exactly what Suggs has said. These fans who went through torture, they came close to losing their club altogether, and they've just the guys that came in to buy them not only have resurrected the football club, but the town, everything around it.
The community,
the way that they've done it, they've done it a correct way. Sure, it can be done the correct way rather than this.
By outspending every other team? They've just outspent every other team. In every league they've been in, they've outspent every other team.
Yeah,
you're dismissing what Darren's just said there. You're dismissing what Darren's just said there. They've made a huge difference to everything, Wrexham.
I get that, but so have the Man City owners around the Manchester City style. I get that, and I do get there'll be long-term fans who are absolutely over the moon. I fully get that. The point is, it's not a fairy tale. They have bought everything they've got. They've paid massive wages, bigger than all the teams in League Two, bigger than all the teams in League One. They've spent more money on transfers than all the teams in League Two. I think their wages in League One I think their wages were equivalent to like the next 6 clubs when they came up. It's nothing about it a fairy tale.
When they were
The
non-league,
fairy tale is it's them. It could have been anyone, couldn't it? It could have been any club from around that sort of lower league, and it was them. They were the ones that got lucky. They were the ones that these guys
And
came
it's
along and
worked.
decided to throw something behind.
And it's
The
worked.
fairy
How
tale
many
could have been
times?
Southend. Could have been
How many
anyone, but
times
it was
have you-
them.
How many times have you seen clubs spending a lot of money, being in the top 5 spenders, and they've been unsuccessful because of the choices and the picking the managers, the players that they've picked, that they signed? It just feels like, although, yeah, they have spent more money than everybody else, but it feels like they've done it right. They've been successful with all the choices they've made, which adds to the fairy tale of coming up the leagues. They obviously had an aim. When they came in, their aim was to at least get them to the Championship, if not the Premiership. So they're going to have to spend money more than everybody else to get there in a shorter period of time than everybody else. But to do it, to be successful at every level, is a different thing. You can spend all the money you want, but you still have to be successful, and they have been.
Did you say the same when Rangers came back up from League One and up into the Premier League? But you still got to spend money to do it. No,
That was their fairy tale.
there you go.
I mean, Gary Neville and Co have tried to do it in Salford, haven't they? But they haven't found the same level of success. They've tried to do the same thing. Then 4 or 5 guys ploughed loads of money in to build a club from scratch, and
They haven't put as
not
much
been able
money
to
as
get
these
on.
guys have.
No, but they've still had more money than teams in that league. And they've not been able to get out of that.
Can they afford to go up? This is the big question. Like, the Premier League's a whole different story. You can't, they can't sustain this level of spending to compete in the Premier League without them. Obviously, much more money will come in. I get that TV deal, stuff like that. But is it too soon for them to go up?
Probably. And I think competing in the Premier League is a complete thing. Just to get in there will be unbelievable for them and their fans. Just to get in there.
Well, when I see what Darren's saying, how many teams have spent a lot of money and not been successful. If you spend a lot of money in League One and League Two, you will go up. That is a fact. Look, the team that spent the most money last year was Birmingham. They bought a striker for 15 million in League One.
Yep.
Yeah, they went up. Wrexham spent the second most amount of money. They went up second. You know, these teams will go up by spending that kind of money in those lower leagues. When they were in the, where was it? When they're in the conference, they signed Paul Mullin. Now we've had Paul Mullin this season, and basically he's been running. He was running. We had him on loan. We couldn't afford his wages, right? Because I think he was on 10 grand a week. The bloke run well. He can't run. He's like he's got a fridge freezer on his back. He's never done it at League One. He was scoring goals at League One. Other teams were after him, and they were in the conference, and they blasted other teams out the water with the wages they were paying, and offered him like 4 or 5 year contracts. They took James McLean off us. They offered Connor Corday at 33 a 3-year deal. He was on about 15 grand a week. You know, at League One. They had Stephen Fletcher last year. They were paying him a fortune. They got rid of him. And they recently bid, what was it? Was it 20 million for that striker from France? That was
I was talking about it last week, wasn't they?
I don't think there are
million,
Premier League clubs after him as well. But I think they were signing a lad from Barnsley who scored quite a few goals this season. They were on about that. Is it a fairy tale? I don't think so. They've just had a lot of money, and look, the
fairy tale side of it for me, Mark, is where they come from.
I would take it, and I would say buy everyone. I don't care, right? That's my personal opinion. I wish it would have. We kind of had it with Dave Whelan. He bankrolled us for many years, right? And then we got the money back once we got to the Premier League. He built us a stadium and all that. So I have been there, but probably at slightly smaller level than what Wrexham have done. If they don't go up and they don't start well next year, he will be the first manager that will get sacked in that league. I guarantee that, because they'll bring in a bigger name than Phil Parkinson.
Andy, you have any views, being the sort of wizened old owl of our group?
I see where both sides of this argument are coming from. I mean, you know, if I sort of take Darren and Paul's argument that there is an element of, if you were a fan of any club at that was down at that level and they nearly did go out of business, then you would take it. And I also get the argument about they have just outspent it. You've still got to spend the money wisely. There's been a lot of clubs who have spent a lot of money and not spent it particularly wisely. So I sort of get it. The big test for them will be if they do get up, and I do think this year would be a year too early for them, but obviously they'll take it if they can. Is the Premier League? Obviously that brings money, but are they really going to compete there? I'd just be interested to wonder how long these two guys, these two Hollywood superstars. I'm not really into films, so I can't even. Well, Rob McElhenney and I can't remember the other fella's name, but how long are they going to stick around if it starts to go pear-shaped? Would be my.
Is it
built on something which is solid foundations, or is it built on sand?
There's going to be a legacy left behind anyway.
Huh?
There's going to be a legacy left behind anyway. They've got a brand new stand going in behind one of the goals, so that already is a legacy. They're doing quite a lot for the community, the town itself, which will all be left behind when they're gone. So it's not just that they ploughed millions into the football club, just a bit of glory hunting and off they go. There's going to be something left behind once they're gone.
I get both sides. I get both without sitting on the fence and getting splinters up my backside. I get both sides of the argument. They have obviously done a lot of good for the town, the team, etc., etc.
And I fully agree with that. I fully agree that the community, great town, new stand, it's not a fairy tale. It's been done with money that's been thrown into it. It's not a fairy tale. There's no fairy. And when you talk about people leaving legacies, community, and that, Daniel Levy's done the same at Tottenham, Paul.
So it's a different story altogether. No, if it's not, it's a different story. Tottenham is a Premier League club all the way.
Daniel Levy has done absolute wonders for the area of Tottenham and the stuff he's left behind and the community of Tottenham. Absolute wonders.
And he left them won a trophy. There you go.
He's done absolute
Tottenham aren't being dragged out of total obscurity. Tottenham have been a Premier League club and they've just been struggling in the Premier League, but they've not come literally out of nowhere.
But Tottenham are close to going bankrupt, and now they're up as one of the ninth richest club in the world. They were close to going bankrupt 30 years ago. He's done absolute wonders for Tottenham Hotspur. The training ground, the stadium, and everything else around Tottenham is absolutely superb. And you are struggling to say, he has. And that's the hypocrisy of it all. What about who's going to win? There you go. So it doesn't come down to it's fairy tales, whatever. It comes down to whether you like people or not.
The two stories have no similarity, though.
Who's going to win the championship?
The two stories have no similarity.
Who's going to win the championship, Mark? Coventry?
I think Borough might pip them,
Do you?
Yeah, I do. Down to 3 points now. Ipswich have been on a cracking run, a really good run. Hull have done remarkably well. One of my friends had backed Hull on the handicap list at the start of the season. They've got some really good players, Hull. Some young good players. And now they're out of a transfer embargo. They've been going well. But I have to say, I would find it hilarious if Millwall got to the Premier League. I'd find it absolutely hilarious. They'd be causing bother every single week.
I think we've all been one of the scariest. In fact, the old Den was one of the scariest grounds I've been to. In fact, the new Den was pretty scary as well.
I only ever went to the new Den, and it's a ground built for the idiots, isn't it? It's a ground built because you're well away from everything else. You come in a coach. But I've been at Wembley. Well, we beat them in a semi-final when they started fighting with themselves.
A couple of years before we left Spurs, the old ground, we played them in the FA Cup, and I took my missus, and she's actually on match of the day.
Good choice.
Was that an anniversary present? Was it?
Yeah, and she actually appeared on Match of the Day because we used to sit near the touch. So I brought it out. Walking back down the high road on the way home, a Millwall fan has literally just stepped out, no warning, and just smacked a Spurs fan straight in the face about 5 yards in front of him. It's actually on, when we got home, it was on social media. He just absolutely just lumped this bloke straight in the face and carried on walking.
Oh, dear.
I'll take it to all the best places, Andy.
Yeah.
Come on, lad, we go.
Old people, eh? You've got to look after old people now.
Yeah, 60 now.
Yeah. I do think Borough might do them. I know they score a lot of goals, Coventry, but Borough's they won the last 4 games.
He's got the experience of coming up, the manager, isn't he? Edwards, he came up with Luton, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got the wall.
He's at Wolves.
He's got, of course he has. Yeah. Who's there now? Who's at Middlesbrough now?
He definitely went to Wolves.
He did, yeah. I forgot that. Yeah.
Kim Hellberg.
Never heard of him.
He's doing
No
idea.
I forgot that. I'd forgotten that. Yeah, because I thought it was strange at the time. I remember now saying, why has he gone there? Because his Wolves are going the other way.
Yeah.
He's from Hammarby in Sweden.
Yeah. Well, there we go. And we'll just have a little European roundup because the mighty Spurs did finish 4th in the Champions League. I don't know what your views are on. I mean, I know we're talking about 5, maybe 6 teams in the last 16, and I do think it's a reflection on standard of some of the others. I can't bear that format. I know I'm going to get shouted down here.
It's ridiculous.
The only thing that mattered last night.
It's not perfect, but it's better than the old one.
I don't think so. The only thing that mattered last night, the only thing that mattered was the line between 24th and 25th. That was the only real thing that really mattered, was the line. And as it was, that was the most exciting moment because the Benfica goalie scores that goal. You've got, is it Benfica? Yeah, Benfica going through with 1-3, lost 5.
5, yeah.
You've got Karabag of letting 20 fucking million goals. Tottenham didn't beat one team out of the bottom 8 at the time we played them, other than Dortmund. That's the only team we beat that weren't in the bottom 8 when we played them. I think the format is absolute garbage. Once again, it's done for money. Another 2 games for every team in this phase. Let's get another 2 games in this little knockout thing now. I think it's an absolute nonsense. I think the old way was miles better, personally.
And I'll say something on that. You can crow on about all these Premier League teams being in the top 8, whatever it is. None of them will win it. It will not be an English team that wins it.
It certainly won't be Spurs.
That we can agree on.
Huh?
That we can agree on. For sure.
Who's your winners then, Mark?
Sorry, Andy.
Who's your winners then?
Not an English team.
Not an English team.
But I have booked.
Who's George then?
Huh?
Who's George?
That's my Airbnb host.
George.
I've got you a room book, Mark.
He was on Rainbow, George, with Zippy.
Yeah.
Wasn't he? With Zippy and Jeffrey.
It's 17th again, isn't it? 17th again, and 17th in the league and winning Europe again. I mean, imagine how much piss that will boil. Just imagine it. Just imagine how much. Just imagine. I mean, right in your front of hearts, just imagine Arsenal don't win the league and then Spurs went and nicked the Champions League. Just imagine it.
Ian, can I take that a stage further? Can I take that a stage further, Ian? How much piss will that boil if Thomas Frank's still in charge when it happens?
Oh.
Well, no man's in charge.
You might believe you if that happens.
I've actually, I think Andy's almost having a seizure. He's like,
I think if that happens, I might have to find that Millwall supporter. On you.
So who do you think is going to win it, Mark?
Just not an English team. I just don't think anyone will win it.
No. I've got a sneaking
PSG, PSG or Real.
Bayern.
Bayern are a good
Bayern
side.
have got to have a good chance, haven't they? They've got to have a really good chance, I would think, this year.
PSG are a top team. Do they play Newcastle on the 2 legs in the next round?
No,
I don't know. They've drawn.
The draw. There is a
Draws tomorrow.
Oh, is it?
Tomorrow, isn't it?
You can sort of work out who you're getting, because well, the top 8 can work out who they're. Well, actually, you can work out the whole thing who you're getting. I've obviously only looked at my lot. It's Dortmund, Atalanta, and I can't remember the other 2. Yeah. But it is all there on a schematic, so you can go and work out who the top are going to get.
We've got it.
I think Juventus might have been one of them. But
we can get Juventus. I know that.
Juventus is out of the pot.
We can get Juventus. The 2 decent teams we can get are Juventus or Atletico Madrid, I think.
Oh right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's all about cash, and it's everything is about as much money as you can get in, and
probably right. Yeah.
I mean, even the prize money. Tottenham, that's worth 73 million to Tottenham. That
is it?
I think I saw ours was $1 million less than.
Yeah, you're about 80. Yeah, Liverpool's the most.
8 million, is it? Yeah.
Liverpool's the most, and then Arsenal's about 8. Liverpool's about 90.
Liverpool, Man City were just in front of us for the money that we've got.
73 million. You can get another Dominic Solanke for that, Ian.
Yeah, we can go.
So what you're saying, Ian, is if Tottenham win it, it will definitely not be a fairy tale.
It won't be a fairy tale, no. It'll be an absolute miracle.
It will be a miracle, yeah.
There won't be the slightest fairy tale about it. I actually think, and I think Arsenal have got a really good chance of winning it.
Oh, you're only saying that to put the bock on us.
That's
what you're doing.
I think knockout football teams having to come to Arsenal.
You're probably right. I have quoted this.
If you said to me one now, I would fancy them more to win that than I would the Premier League. But I do think they'll win. I do think they'll win the Premier League. But it'll be. I just think it's set up for them. I just think teams having to go there. I really do think it is. I mean, that hurts me, and that will be. I'll be getting on one of Musk's rockets to flipping wherever he's going if that happens.
Get on one of Trump's rockets to Iran if you want to. But there you
go. What do you think of Thomas Frank?
Keep him.
That's exactly what I think.
He does a nice line in cups.
He's an absolute disaster. Massively out of his depth.
Go on, what has he split? Are there any Thomas Frank supporters amongst the Spurs?
I think Paul might be a little bit. A bloke did a poll the other day, and there was about 20,000 fans, and it was 93% wanted him gone, 7% wanted him in. I'd imagine some of that 7% were Arsenal fans who are absolutely loving having him at Spurs.
Who would you want though?
At the moment, anyone. I think he's absolutely fucking terrible.
Why you guys got rid of Ange? Why you got rid of Ange's?
I think he is the most. I genuinely, Andy, been going 40 odd years, seen Christian Gross and lots of. I think he's the most inept one that I've ever seen there. I can't bear him. I just cannot bear. I can't bear listening to him. He comes out when we've just been beaten by Burnley. Drawn with Burnley, but lost to West Ham, couldn't beat Sunderland, couldn't beat Brentford, lost to Bournemouth, and goes, we've been playing well. You got 1 point, 5 points, I think he got in 8 games. It's fucking rubbish. He's useless.
You should get the bloke who Tim Sherwood gave the gilet to. He'd be all right.
I'll take him. I'd take Suxy. I'd take Suxy on the line.
Oh dear.
I think it's that prime example of somebody who's probably in the right club, didn't have to get.
Okay, let me pose this question. Do you think he'll last the season?
Probably, because I just don't think they have any idea what to do. A lot of it will depend on our February. I mean, we have got the two Manchester clubs, Arsenal and Newcastle, are our next 4 league games, and I genuinely cannot see us getting a point. Now, you get to the end of February, and if West Ham happen to have picked up a couple of points in that period, I know they've got some tough fixtures. Leeds pick up a couple of points always relatively. I think it'll be very difficult to go into.
You know the team that you haven't mentioned, the team that I think are in big trouble, Crystal Palace.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, maybe they've bought someone today.
Relegation a few weeks ago, well, a week and a half ago, they were 16-1. They've halved in price.
Yeah, they've bought that striker today, haven't they, for 40-50 million from Wolves, haven't they?
From Wolves.
Has he got 2 goals all season or something like that?
Yeah. I think the operative word there is from Wolves.
Yeah, no, which is fair. Yeah, which is fair. But he was quite sought after by a few clubs, wasn't he? I think a few have been after him. But Mateta's going.
Having said that, if you look at the to finish bottom market, the prices between Wolves and Burnley are completely out of kilter. Because to be fair, Wolves have actually they should have got at least a point when they played Arsenal, because we were rubbish that day, absolute rubbish. It's a travesty that they didn't get anything out of that game. They actually played very well, and I've seen them play pretty well. They've been a little bit unlucky, and to be honest with you, if I think the prices were like sort of 5s on and 7-2, something like that. If you look on the relegation market or the finished bottom market, if you're talking a little bit of the V word or perceived value, then it would be I'd rather back Burnley to finish bottom than I would Wolves.
They've got 7 points to make up, but yeah, I mean, out the bottom 7, Tottenham, Palace, and Burnley are the 3 teams that haven't won in their last 5. All the others have got to win. West Ham a couple, Forest have won 2 of the last 3. I mean, we are desperate, and I think we're going to have a massive. Because I do think they'll keep him. I think they're going to have a massive decision to make at the end of February. Because I just cannot. I do not see how we get a point against those 4 teams.
How long a contract did they give him?
4 years, 4 years, £8 million a year, plus all his backroom stuff. I think they said it's massive, yeah. So, and I think that's another part. I think you've got the guy going back to what you said earlier about your man Gray at Hibs having time. We've now got that agent Vinay sent over from Arsenal.
Yeah, we've sent him over, agent Vinay.
And sort of everybody says, oh, he wants to keep Frank. I know somebody who's quite in at the club, and I think this narrative is probably correct. He wants to keep Frank because it was his appointment, and he proved with Arteta that giving them time works. My argument to that is Arteta was an Arsenal man, so he's going to get that little bit of time. Arteta came straight in, and while you may say it was Emery's team, he won the FA Cup in that first year. And Arteta had been right-hand man to, whether you love him or hate him, arguably one of the best managers there's ever been, and won everything with Man City sitting by his side. Our guy's done nothing. He's done absolutely nothing. He's finished 9th in the Premier League. That's what he's done.
There is the argument, though, that managers just aren't given enough time. I mean, you see it all the time, sackings left, right, centre. Yet the ones that are given a bit of time normally do better.
You've got to show something, Darren. You've got to show something.
I get it. It's probably isolated with Thomas Frank, but obviously you're spotting them early on. But Tottenham have got a history of sacking managers far too soon.
Oh yeah, no.
And when does it stop? When do you say, right? Actually, this time we have to give somebody a bit of time. We have to accept short term that we might be shit, because long term we'll get there.
And I agree with you. And I wasn't a massive Poch fan, I never thought he'd get us over the line. But if they decided that was the man they were going to support, I couldn't have argued with it. If they'd said at the end of this season, we're going to give Ange support, the guy's just won you a trophy, got you 100 million of Champions League football, and you kick him out the door. I'd have quite happily sat and said, give this guy 100 million. He played half the season. Romero and Van der Ven played 9 games last season together. This guy's had Romero and Van der Ven every week. We let him more goals. Oh, he's a defensive tactico. He's fucking useless. He's rubbish. The football is absolutely desperate. Yeah, every metric that you look at, people go, oh, Bentancur's shit. You look at Bentancur for forward passes under Ange compared to now. It was like 6 forward passes a game. Now it's 0.2. It's just every metric that you measure him on, it's rubbish. Absolutely rubbish. I do agree we've got to get a manager and stick with them. But this boy, I think, is an absolute disaster to start giving. And that's why they haven't spent, because they don't know what to do. They don't want to give him 100 million because they pretty much know they're going to be hoofing him out in May. They are just begging and praying that they can get to May in 17th place. And they could come unstuck. I'm not saying we will go down, but I think it's going to be a lot closer than people think. Last year with Ange, I never ever thought we'd go down. You go, we're shit. He's kind of given up on the league, but we got enough points. We're not going to go down, go and win the Europa. I can't see this guy keeping us up because I don't know where he's going to get a point from. When your teams are rolling up, West Ham and beating you at Spurs, and they haven't won in 10. Burnley haven't won in 14. You can't beat them. We've had all our easy fixtures.
A team like Spurs getting relegated is unthinkable, not just for the fans, but for the commercial side too. The board must be shitting themselves if that if you got these games coming up, if you lose all them, I think they would pull the trigger.
You're banging it, yeah. Well, I think they'd have to then, because exactly for the reasons you say. I mean, but then it's who you get. Where I think they could have
get Ryan Mason in, get him in there. It'd be all right. Good night for Scottish teams in the Europa. Both Rangers and Celtic are winning.
It only really matters for Celtic, so Rangers are already out.
Right, and yeah.
All right, let's round up with other sports. Andy, 8th of February, Super Bowl, Seattle taking on New England. I want to ask you firstly, what was your view on that New England-Denver game in the snow? I felt that New England had a massive advantage watching it, playing in white, and that you couldn't actually see any of the players.
Couldn't see them, could you? I mean, I did see some stuff about, we should play all the conference champ, all those really important games inside, etc., etc. But I don't buy that one. There's been plenty of cold weather, snow games, etc., etc. I think you just got to play. I thought New England were exceptionally smart, including one play which you wouldn't even think, when they obviously couldn't move the ball. The guy and Drake May just threw the ball away, and then they punted it and relied on the defense, which was the right thing to do. Because apart from one pass from Jarrett Stidham, as much as they tried to build him up, he was shite, basically. And New England have got, they relied on their D, and I thought they called a very good game. There's all the little brickbats against them about them having the easiest schedule, but there's been plenty of sides who got there having an easier schedule before. It's obviously a rematch of Super Bowl 49, which, if you think back, was the one where Malcolm Butler intercepted right on the goal line when the Patriots, the Seahawks should probably have run the damn ball with Marshawn Lynch there and decided to pass it. And Malcolm Butler intercepting the goal line. That was one Brady got them back from the start of the fourth quarter. Patriots were 24-14 down, and he got them back in. He got them back into it. It's a really interesting game. I thought originally that the handicap would be a little bit higher. It's about 4.5 towards Seattle. I sort of thought a bit higher, but I mean, there's little flaws in both sides. I think it's a fascinating game. Two really good coaches. I've always liked Tennessee Titans. They must have been absolutely stupid firing Mike Vrabel. What a bunch of idiots. And I knew he was going to do well there. Not as well as I thought he would. If he's turned this team around, they won 4 games last year. And Seattle had done really well with Mike McDonald there, who was the defensive coordinator at the Ravens. 2 good defenses, but 2 good offenses as well. Both Sam Darnold's bounced around the league. And he was the 3rd overall draft pick when he went to the Jets. But they've got the right sort of structure around him now Drake May, I think, is a very, very good quarterback. Two sides who are, I don't think they're particularly necessarily the sexiest sides in the competition, but they've done really well to get there. I mean, New England are actually the 6th team to reach the Super Bowl after 5 or fewer wins the previous season, and the last team to do that was the New England Patriots. So they've had a good reason to sort of bounce around. I think it's a good. I mean, there's massive questions. I'll obviously do a big write up on it.
You won't, will you?
Yeah, 4,000 words, I think, Mark, just for you, so you can read it all.
If I give you a grand, Andy, now, are you having it at 1.45 Arsenal to win the league or 1.45 Seahawks to win the Super Bowl?
I'd have it on the Seahawks.
Yeah, me too. Yes, I would. Yeah, I think.
There are slight question marks in, but I think there's some fascinating little wriggles in the game. I mean, if you're looking for, I've put a bet up in the sport in the newsletter this week, but I think that there's one little area I'm looking at. There's a guy who they got halfway through the season at Seattle, Raheem Shaheed, who they use, on a deep ball a lot, but they also use him. I thought they were going to use him a lot more in the run game, and I've got a feeling. I mean, when you get to the Super Bowl, you've got all that game film from the whole year to watch, and there's always a little gadget play or something, and I'm sure they're going to use him. So I'd keep an eye out on his rushing yards. I actually put it up this week as well, and he ran once, and he nearly got away, and I'm thinking that could be one. The one that always catches the layers out is a non-quarterback to throw a pass. Now there are a lot of players on each side who played high school or even college quarterbacks, and where they usually miss price is a non-quarterback to throw a touchdown pass, and I've seen that done in quite a few Super Bowls as well. The one bet I've been obviously through them, and one I thought looked pretty low. I know they're two good defenses, but the total passing yards, so both sides, for in the Super Bowl look really low to me. The line is 422.5. Now Drake May's yards per game, average yards per game, are 258.5. And Sam Darnold's at 238.1. Now, I know they're two good defenses, but I think they'll probably pass a lot more than that. I would have had this up around sort of the line up around 450. So I think 422. That's with Hills. It's about a 4 to 5 chance. But I think that'll go over. And there's one player another Seahawks player who crept into my reckoning after the game, a guy called George Halani, who's the backup running back. And they used him a little bit more than I thought he would. He's about 5 to 1 to get a touchdown, and I wouldn't say that is the world's worst bet either. But it's a decent Super Bowl. I think it'll be pretty good. To be honest with you, I mean, if you had this as a Super Bowl matchup on your bingo card, I'd go and buy a lottery ticket.
Yeah, both big prices, weren't they? And a month away from Cheltenham, we will obviously do, or just pretty much a month away. We will do Cheltenham in the next one of these at the end of February. But have we got any early shouts for Cheltenham?
Well, obviously, there's going to be I think there'll be a lot of changes to the anti-post markets after you've got the Dublin Racing Festival this week, which is probably, I mean, that is this side of Cheltenham is probably the best 2 days racing that you'll get. There's 8 Grade 1 races. It will see a lot of movement in the anti-post markets. I think I'll stick I'll obviously be doing a few bits and pieces on that as well. If there's one, I've had a few anti-post bets. Usually it's the handicaps I concentrate on, and I'm not going to play in those until we get a non-runner, no bet concession from the lovely bookmakers. But I've had one bet. I had one bet last week. It's still available at double-figure prices for the Turners, which is used to be called the Ballymore. It's basically the 2.5 mile novices. The horse called Skylight Hustle, who was fairly fortunate to win at Leopardstown. He won a Grade 1 at Leopardstown. The horse that fell at the last, Talk the Talk, because Joseph O'Brien horse is 3rd favourite for the Supreme. I know they want to step Skylight Hustle up in distance. He's still available at around 12-1. In fact, if you wanted to do the related double, which is about 116-1, Talk the Talk and Skylight Hustle for the Supreme and the Turners wouldn't be the world's worst bet. I don't think they're going to run the Skylight Hustle before Cheltenham. I think that's it for now, but he's definitely needs to be upped in trip. And I'll give you one jockey to watch out for. He actually rode a winner this afternoon. There's a kid called Michael Keneally over in Ireland. If he gets on anything, it's his claim, if he can claim in certain races, but he'll certainly be able to claim in the Martin Pipe, which is a conditional handicap for conditionals. His £7 claim is absolutely stealing money. Whatever he rides will be backed. A guy called Michael Keneally. Keep an eye on him. He's going to be a very, very big.
Okay, thank you for that. And Mark, I believe you've got a bit of a Cheltenham fancy.
Yeah, it's an taking one on the non-runner no bet, because some bookies have gone that in the championship races.
Corals haven't they? Yeah.
Corals and Ladbrokes have.
Yeah.
I've taken a punt. It might not go there, but I've taken a punt for the champion hurdle on Ballyburn. It's 20-1. If it wins this weekend, they'll send it to the champion hurdle, and it'll go off a lot lower than what it is. If it doesn't, what do you think, Andy? They send it for the stayers.
I don't know where they're going to send it. It's a bit of a fruitcake.
It is a fruitcake, but it's
a
very
talented fruitcake, and the champion hurdle market is all over the shop at the moment. So
and I just thought 20-1 and no bet.
You get it non-run and no bet. Yes.
Yeah.
And
it's 20-1 in shops as well, so you can actually get that in store as well, because I went and put it on in the shop.
And just to finish off, I have started my club championship book. Suggsy, perhaps we will cover club championship stroke the Masters in the March edition. But I have backed Patrick Reed at 46. I've backed Justin Rose at 65 and Jason Day at 75 to start my Masters book. I don't think they'll drift bigger than that. There's a
back on the circuit, isn't he, old Patrick, Captain America?
Right. I mean, he's won and he's back. He's going to be playing competitive golf again. He's good round Augusta. Rose, twice lost in playoffs. I just think it's a silly price. And Jason Day, another one who's been runner-up Augusta.
He played very well in Dubai, didn't he?
Yeah, he won comfortably.
He won
easily last week. Ian, are they backed, or are they with a view to trade?
I'll back, and I don't think they're going to drift from there, Paul, really. So I think I'll be able to get out if I change my mind and see how they play. Unless one of their arms falls off. I think that's probably as high as those three are going to be. And there's a fair chance that if they show the form that they're showing at the moment, Rose is going well this week. He's 4 under through 6. I think if they show that form going through, they're going to shorten up nearer the time. And I'll make a view whether to keep it. I'll keep you posted, but they're just three. I think that at the prices. Obviously you've got a market dominated by Scotty, who won last week. So the whole game really hinges on how he plays. If he turns up, you might as well not bet on anything other than him. But you have to look where
they need to get that Millwall supporter out again on him. That's
So I'd like to say thank you to all, Darren. Thank you for joining us in your Scotland shirt from Scotland. We will catch up before the end of the season on one of these and see how your blood pressure is going with Hearts. So, as always, an absolute pleasure. Just learn the meaning of the word fairy tale and we'll be good. Andy, as always, thank you for your knowledge and thank you for coming along and your views on Arsenal. And Mark, your views on the lower league. Thank you all very much, guys. Really enjoyed it. Brilliant. Thank you ever so much.
Thanks a lot, lads.
Okay.
See you later.
Cheers, guys.
Bye.